We move now to a different area of global competition, the economic one. Our business correspondent Paul Solman looks at a company that has come up with a uniquely American solution to the problem of keeping up with the Japanese.
Baseball, where America's diversity is America's strength. African Americans, Hispanic Americans, European Americans, young and not so young, working as a team, highly motivated. No other country can beat this American product, or this one, or this one. If we could transfer the spirit of sports to American industry, maybe we'd be winning the World Series of global competition. And that's the idea behind this company. At SRC, the Springfield Remanufacturing Corporation, they've brought the love of the game to the factory floor. No cheering crowds, no TV cameras. All they do is overhaul old truck engines.
We tear them down and then we rebuild them.
This is the kind of industry America has been losing for decades. But at SRC, sales have tripled in just 6 years. These Mercedes-Benz parts have come all the way from Germany to Springfield, Missouri, because SRC remanufactures engines as well as any firm on earth.
It's exciting. It's a challenge. I really like it.
And most people, especially in this department, enjoy the work.
And everybody will work together. If we're done before somebody else is, we go to another area and help them out.
Well, you've probably heard workers talk like this before. But Bo Burlingham thinks SRC is different. Burlingham watches the world of business for Inc. magazine, based here in Boston. It was he who first told us about SRC. He's writing a book about the company's approach, what it calls the great game of business.
The idea behind the great game of business is that business is essentially a game. It's no more complicated than baseball. But like any game, people won't play it unless they get it. In order to get it, you have to, number one, understand what the rules are. Number two, you have to get enough information to follow the action. Number three, you have to share in the risks and the rewards.
Okay, number one is understand the rules. So when you come to work here, you learn technical stuff like burning the grime off old engines, and that because SRC is owned entirely by its workers and managers, you're all on the same team. When the day shift ends and social life begins, workers and managers literally play together. And at SRC, unlike some teams, nobody warms the bench.
A year ago, we were trying to build all these engines for Auto Shack, okay? And we couldn't get enough crankshafts.
Vice President Mike Carrigan had a problem with crankshafts. To solve it, he turned to the workers.
What's it take to get to 95 a day? And I think Joe was the first guy that says, well, you got the machines in the wrong place. You got this one over here, and it ought to be there. And I said, okay, Joe, you're on the committee to rearrange the machine tools, okay?
Joe was made captain of his committee, and he wasn't alone.
Another guy says, I don't have the right gauges. I got to have this kind of gauges. Okay, you're on the gauge committee. Give me a list of the gauges that you want.
Employee participation. Employees are the ones that are out there 8 hours a day doing the job. They're the ones to tell you. They're the ones that knows what's going on. They're the ones you ought to listen to.
By the time these workers finished, SRC was not producing the original 75 crankshafts a day, or even the target 95, but 120, with almost no added investment. This was the team concept in action. Meanwhile, back at the plant, here's the second rule of the great game of business, learning to keep score, so you know if you're winning or losing. In business, that means learning to read financial statements.
They had meetings, and they taught us how to read the income statements.
Did you think
they personally called each one of us in and explained each one of us how to read the income statements.
Did you think you were going to be able to understand it?
No. You know, they really work with us on it. They want us to know exactly what we're putting out every month.
So let's go to line 4, which is net gross sales.
At sessions such as this, recorded by SRC on home video, top management teaches every worker how to read the numbers. They even give the SRC financial quiz. And they turn out line workers who sound like accountants.
We've got 7 people at 8 hours apiece, so we've got 56 hours in here.
This woman began her career at SRC tearing down and rebuilding fuel pumps. Now she's the head of her department and literally an expert on cost accounting.
You want to be 100 or a little bit below. You don't want to be over 100 or you went over standard.
It was SRC President Jack Stack who came up with the idea of the great game of business. To Stack, financial sophistication was crucial to his second rule, keeping score.
I feel motivated for one reason. They got an income statement. They all know it. That's their motivation. It's a unifying factor. It's their report card.
When you stop to think about it, it's not that amazing. Americans certainly understand sports statistics, from RBIs to batting averages. But while business statistics sound baffling, price-earnings ratios, earnings per share, they're really just as easy to calculate and understand. Boston's Fenway Park, out of season on a lousy day. Now, we know we're coming out of left field with this, but we need to put SRC in a larger context. Here's a team successfully competing in the world marketplace that's quintessentially American. Granted, there's nothing especially American about teamwork. Japan, after all, has used the team approach to beat the pants off nearly everybody for years. But in Japan, a homogeneous society with a common culture and values, they're raised as part of a group, and teamwork comes pretty easily. In America, by contrast, the diversity of our immigrant culture teaches us to respect individuality. And so, the significance of SRC may be that it's captured the spirit of American sports, where we do play as a team, and applied it to the world of business.
We're a game-playing nation. We love sports. We love games of all types. And by taking business and showing it how it is a game, and by teaching people to play it, you can get all these different people to work together. And you can get them to work together the same way a team works together.
So let's review the great game of business thus far. You must first know the rules. Second, learn how to keep score. And the third and final point is, you must have a personal stake in the outcome. So this firm is owned, lock, stock, and crankshaft, by its workers and managers. Management meetings are really shareholder meetings, deciding on behalf of employees, for example, whether paying out a bonus is better than paying off debt.
I'm talking about a play that a person could hold $1 worth of stock and have that be a 10 times value versus that $1 in a bonus program. Have we taken them to that level yet to make them understand?
Ultimately, the rank and file will have to make this subtle financial choice. Do they know enough to do it?
I don't believe so. The bonus program's not just held dearly by a lot of hourly people out there. There's some of your salaried people that also, and it would be, it's short-term reward, and it'd take the starch out of a few.
We ask for a lot of extra things during the years out of people, and that bonus is part of, a good way to pay them back for that. I think you lose a lot of motivation when you lose a bonus.
Tough long-term decisions aren't made any easier, may even be harder when they're made by the team.
Maybe you ought to put a questionnaire out asking them that. If need be, would you forego a bonus to try to attain zero debt? Ask them.
In fact, the bonus decision was ultimately put to a vote of the workforce. And at SRC, unlike the typical American firm, a majority decided to forego the short-term bonus in order to enhance the value of their company. The workers at SRC do seem to understand the great game of business and its rules. And that's what observers like Bo Burlingham find so significant.
I think the greatest implication has to do with the ability to develop manufacturing operations which are able to operate efficiently as, say, the Japanese operation. Now, SRC has developed a way of organizing a manufacturing operation that is not an imitation of the Japanese style. It is not based on fear. It is based on something that is quintessentially American, and that is the love of a game.
Now, you may be thinking, haven't we seen enough of this analogy between baseball and business? Well, perhaps. On the other hand, consider this. If America is going to regain its industrial competitiveness, why not try to celebrate our diversity? Why not try to capitalize on America's love of a good game?